I think this past week, the NAS100 market shocked a lot of people. But if you're following this channel, you probably weren't shocked because we came up with a game plan that pretty much followed a lot of stuff that we talked about, including hitting the negative 27% fib level. It got really close. So if you're looking for a game plan that's going to help you better strategize when you look at the NAS100 market for this upcoming week, you are in the right place because we are going to go over my entries, my exits, and my profit target zones for this market for the upcoming week. And as usual, we are going to clean up our charts a little bit, do a little bit of fresh analysis because we do have some new market structure, and we're also going to start on the weekly time frame as usual. All right, so we have a lot of lines here on our weekly time frame, and we can see that this past week's candle closed right here. So all of these other levels were not touched. However, I am going to mark them off because if we look really closely at the NAS100 weekly candle from this past week, we can see that it closed bullish, but it was a weak bullish candle, and it'll be interesting to see what happens next week. So this was a level that we had from last week. I'm actually just going to take this and put it at the very top of the wick from this past week because this was a brand new high inside of the market. And if we look at the price, it is at 22,905. So we definitely want to mark that off. We do have this other level that's tapping into the previous week's candle, and that is currently sitting at 22,621. And then if we look at this candle, we may make adjustments on this level on lower time frames, but this is sitting at 22,402, and then this level here is sitting at 22,195, and then we have this yellow zone here that is at 21,968, and then we have this other level that is sitting at 21,612, and then this yellow level is at 21,400. So we do have a couple other levels I'll call out super quick, but this is really far. This candle is almost 900 pips or points inside of this market. So now it is 21,048 for this level, and then this last zone is at roughly 20,758. All right, cool. Now that we got this looking nice, so let me just go ahead and move this to the bottom of this wick here, and now this is sitting at 22,393. Let's go down to the daily where we have a lot more data inside of this market. Okay, we can see that a nice resistance was formed here at the very top, and then we also have some candles that are jumping back and forth from this level here. So for right now, I am going to push this yellow level up, so that way it is sitting at roughly 22,675. This is still looking good. This is still looking good, and this, of course, because price did not come down here, so we won't really touch these, but they're still looking good on this daily time frame. Let's go to the H4 time frame and reset. Okay, so now we have a lot more data here on this time frame, just focusing on data from this past week, and it's basically looking good. I'm going to make a slight adjustment just so that way the wick of this candle is sitting right on top, or at least on this line, and that is at 22,907. And we can see that some sort of support was formed here. Price stopped here. So what I'm going to do is take this yellow level and move it back down. So that way we have this nice support here with a strong bullish engulfing. I want the price to sit on top of that. So now it's at 22,645. This level still looking good. A little craziness here. We'll deal with that on lower time frames. Let's go to the H2. If you've taken a trade and you're looking for some feedback on your trade, maybe you took a trade and it was successful and you want to know what you should do right in order to continue that success, or maybe you've taken some trades and they didn't work out and you're trying to figure out what did I do wrong and you have no one to talk to give you some valid feedback, then go ahead and check out the Express Trade Review in the comment section below, because in that I will give you a personalized review on trades that you have taken in any market. It could be gold, it could be US 30, it could be whatever market you are looking to get help in, and with that you will get my personalized review. You'll also get some tips and things that I use in order to find profitable trades. I'll show you where you could have taken profitable trade based on the setups and information that you give me. And I tend to have this turned around within 48 hours. So you could be able to use the information for your next trade. And you'll also get a PDF where I'll share with you the top 3 things that I look for every time before taking a trade that really emphasizes the entries that I take inside of the market. So if you're looking for that level of help, go ahead and click in the description box below and look for the Express Trade Review. So that way you can get your trades reviewed by a professional, someone who's consistently profitable and can show you how to better enter the market with the markets that you currently trade and the current trading style that you have. I'll see you there. Okay, so this level is still looking good here on the H2 time frame. Really nothing that I want to change. Let's go ahead and go to the H1 before we come up with our game plan for this week. So looking at these candles, making them a little bit bigger. Everything is looking quite nice here. There is this zone that I want to address. So I'm just going to use my horizontal ray tool and basically find this last resistance point. Actually, I'm going to extend this a little bit and I'm going to place it at this resistance point. We do have a rejection here and this level is sitting at 22,718. And you can see that it lines up actually quite nicely with this level here. So since this is most recent price action, I'm going to move it down just a little bit so that way I capture the bulk of these wicks. And this is now sitting at 22,709. So I really like that. And then kind of in here, there are some zones that we could potentially look at. So let me scoot this in. So grabbing my horizontal ray tool, here's a level right here. And this is sitting at 22,460. You can see that support, tested area, rejection, rejection, another tested area. So I really like this as a strong level of support, or at least a level of support inside of the zone. All right, so that's basically the extent of the price action from this past week. So let's just go ahead and come up with our game plan. So one of the first things that I see here on the H1 time frame is this level right here. And I'm going to mark that off. And this level is sitting at 22,762, mainly because this is some sort of rejection or resistance zone. And if I want to continue the buys here, because we do have some bullish momentum, even though on the weekly time frame, there was a small bullish engulfing candle, is still bullish. So we could continue the buys potentially for this upcoming week. And this is where I want to focus my efforts. So from this point all the way up to the top of this resistance for 145 points inside of this market is definitely amazing. And we do have this little zone here. So there is some potential for price to come back to this zone, roughly 55 points. And we just got to wait. So basically, let me see how this would look. It would basically come down here and then potentially break through these resistance areas to get back to up here. But of course, that may take some hours, or it may take some days, or it could be some seconds, just depending on what is happening inside of the market. And if we look at this area right here, is actually quite strong. But however, there is a potential for price to break this level and come back to down here. You can see that before, price was really respecting this level here at 22,393, not just once or twice, but multiple times in the past. So there's definitely something to look out for. If I was targeting to take this counter trend move, then I would target this level at 22,459 first. So I would be looking at this for a 180 point move, and then of course looking for continuation down here if that was the case. So in terms of price potentially going higher for this upcoming week, that's definitely a possibility. Obviously, we don't know, we don't have a crystal ball, but I've created another community here on School called Consistent Profitable Traders. And if you want to join, you can go to school.com/traders in order to join this free membership. I have a number of things here inside of the community. You can see that the community is growing. There are people being added almost every single day. And then inside of the classroom, I do have some things here. I'm constantly adding new things, new resources for new traders. And if you go over to the calendar, then you'll see that I have a monthly call with everybody inside of this group. So if you want to join this community, go ahead and go to school.com/traders and I'll see you there. I speculate. So let me just go ahead and go to H4 time frame because there is a lot more data. And then let me pull out my BFF, the Fibonacci retracement tool, so that way I could see what could potentially happen inside of this market. So just once again, doing the exact same thing, seeing where price could potentially go to in the future. And if we pull this down, and using my horizontal rate tool, then marking this off at the negative 27.2% level, and that is at 23,049. So that's typically how I like to plan for prices that have gone beyond the previous highest high. So if you made it this far in the video and you found this video helpful, go ahead and comment the word 27% in the comment section below. And also, if you enjoyed this content, go ahead and subscribe to this channel because now we are posting 3 times a week, and that is Saturday, Sunday, and Wednesday. So make sure you stay around for all of this goodness, and I'll see you in the next one.